Hey guys! Before we get started, we're recording this on May the 5th, Cinco de Mayo, Revenge of the 5th. This is the day everybody eats tacos but has no idea why. So, hope you're full of tacos, motherfuckers.
We had Italian food. Now I feel gypped.
Right? Hey,
Yeah.
That's racist towards gypsies.
I don't think that's true because it's not from that, is it?
Yeah, being gypped. You're treated like a gypsy. The gypsy ripped you off. I got gypped.
But they don't even eat tacos.
I had tacos today. Literally, if you look up Cinco de Mayo, you're like, wait, why are we celebrating it? And they're like, ha, gotcha, gringo. It's like...
That's what I was going to say is who's more racist, me for not eating tacos or you for eating tacos? Oh, my God.
The tacos are delicious, man. Cinco de Mayo. May the 4th, Revenge of the 5th. We're going to talk Star Wars. We're going to talk some comic books. I got some more French movies to talk about because ooh la la.
Well, I was just going to say ooh la la.
Ooh la la. Before we do, though, like and subscribe. Tell your friends about us. Watch us on YouTube. Follow us on social medias. It's a death spiral, and we're just rolling through the world. Here we go. Let's start this episode. That's not the button. Oh, no.
Push the button.
Mission sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
All right, welcome to the Lunchpad Podcast. I'm Aaron.
Matt.
We're still trying to figure out. It's like we took such a long break because of work and family or whatever. It's like I've forgotten how to press buttons and beat boot properly.
Like which button starts the actual podcast?
Exactly. Like it used to be simple, but like I organized it in a way that made sense to pass me. But then future me's like, I don't know how to do this.
Imagine if we were real Rocketeers, real astronauts, and we got into the spaceship and we're like, well, we haven't been up in about a year. Which one starts this son-bitch? Can you imagine?
Yes.
Can you imagine if you didn't know what was the ignition for the rocket ship?
There is a hilarious Instagram account who I don't know the name, but it was a woman who had a flight simulator, and she's like, "You want to learn how to steal an F-16? Let me tell you." And like on the F-16, it was like, "These are what the knobs are going to be. This is how you turn it on. You're going to need to inject fuel into your jets, let them run for 10 seconds." And I was like, "What is the internet becoming? I can steal an F-16 now, but." Can't pay my rent.
Did you ever think about doing it, though?
Stealing an F-16?
Yeah.
I saw Top Gun 2 Mavericks, and I would end up ice manning myself, just launching right into the top of the...
See, I think getting the plane up in the air wouldn't be the hardest part. I think getting to the plane, like that's the thing I want to know. Tell me how to get up to the plane.
Well, also the whole like, hey, thanks, girl from the internet. Now I know how to steal this thing, get it up in the air. I don't know how to land. Like
that's a different video. You have to like and subscribe to get her video landed.
That's behind the paywall.
Was her? Yeah. Was that video shot in a flying F-16? So she probably just did it, and she hasn't come down yet either.
It was in like a simulator. Like she had multiple screens and all the buttons. It looked legit as hell, but also could be lying to me completely. You know, who knows? I don't know what's real anymore.
I love. I want to see like out the windows of her simulator. I want to see everybody like people running and yelling.
Stop flying the F-16. We live in a time. And I don't know. I know you're an old man grandpa sometimes. Are you inundated with AI shit that you're just like, I don't know if that's real or not? I don't even know what to tell you. Like, do you see a lot of AI generated video?
Not video, because I don't watch a lot of video, but like I look at Facebook almost every day, and I just scroll around, and I'll see shit on there that definitely is not real.
Because of what I do, VFX wise, I get sent videos every day, where people are like, "Is this real?" And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, "No," but we're getting to the point that I'm scared. Holy shit! Like, I don't know if that's VFX or AI. I know it's not real, but I don't know how they did it because it's getting so uncanny valley weird, and that's starting to freak me out, man. It's like the Matrix.
Are you asking the question? Did a woman post a video about stealing a jet in a simulator, or are you suggesting that maybe the simulator posted that video with an AI woman in frame?
Well, it would make sense, get those clicks from those horny
Skynet
dudes.
was like, well, if we could kill at least 14 or 15 people who try to steal F-16, that's 15 people that we don't have to kill conventionally during the war.
Dude, Skynet's like, hey, remember when we used to have to send like muscled out brutes back to the past? Now we can get them to just subscribe to hot girls and kill themselves. It's so easy.
Yeah. It does seem really easy.
We're so stupid as a species. It's unbelievable.
I have seen like a meme a couple times where it's either specifically a Terminator or something else of a robot future, and they're about to kill a human. They're like, no, he said thank you to Alexa. You can let him live.
Yeah. Let me see your Godzilla shirt, dude. What do you got going on there?
Oh, yeah. I meant to show that off.
Dope Godzilla versus Gigan shirt. If you're watching the YouTube, you can see it. I like that, man. That is rad.
Thank you. Brand new. Didn't even wash it yet. Still got the bed bugs in it from shipping.
Yeah, you're going to be itchy tomorrow, dude.
I click on all sorts of Facebook ads and stuff, and this is one from Heroes and Villains, and it just kept, she was like, you sure you don't want it? You sure you don't want it? Sure you don't want it? Finally, I did want it. There's also a really cool one that it's another Gigan shirt. It's been on a couple things. I'm going to have to get it now. It is Metalcropolis. It is a metal parody with Gigan, and he's like this, and he's stepping on the Godzilla-shaped building from Godzilla vs. Gigan.
Oh, yeah.
It is awesome, but by the time I finally decided to pull the trigger, they were sold out. But I found another place that has it. I'm trying to see if I can get the artist to get the original art of it, because I actually do want original art of Gigan, but there's not that much around.
No, all that stuff is hard to find. Original art, original design stuff from the Tokusatsu kaiju era, especially from the 70s.
It's like I would just get something random, like a comic book page or a pinup, but like not a lot of people are drawing Gigan because he's a punk.
He is,
but he's designed so awesome
with them hook arms. There's so many good Godzilla comics happening right now. Godzilla Heist, Godzilla versus the Marvel Universe, Godzilla versus the Avengers. Like, I'm stoked. I saw a bitchin' cover. It's Wolverine flying through the air while getting just atomic blasted, and like it was a great cover. I don't know who did it, but props.
I'm very excited to read those. But I just read the second volume is about to drop, but I read the first volume of I don't know what order, but it was King Kong versus Godzilla versus Justice League of America, and like entertaining, and the art was cool. I'll say spoiler alert, at the very end of that volume, they kill Green Lantern, and Kong gets the ring. So Kong turns into a Green Lantern. And I was like, that is awesome.
Bunch of bananas. Bananas, banana.
But the rest of the book wasn't that interesting to me. It wasn't anything. I mean, it was like an okay enough idea of how to get them together. Why are they in that universe? Okay, fine. But like, how do you make that an interesting enough story? And I feel the same way about Spider-Man or Hulk or Avengers. Like, how are we going to get multiple issues out of them fighting Godzilla, you know?
It's interesting to me because I don't think if you gave King Kong the ring of power, I don't think anything they come up with is going to be as interesting as I think it should be. I can't even give you an example of what a better option is, but they're going to be like, he's going to do this. And I'm going to be like, that's dumb. Like, what would King Kong come up with that's so important? Like a weapon? Or is he going to come up with a way to communicate? Because that's really apes' only, like, hindrance is their
But
communication.
it's also pretty funny if you think, well, I guess because apes are very smart, but can they think about, I guess they can problem solve, right? But is he, like, what is his intelligence level? Like an 8-year-old?
Sure.
You know? So it's like, and I don't know how smart Kong is.
Matt, in this day and age, he has the intelligence of a 35-year-old man who doesn't read any books.
Yeah, that's right.
The whole thing that's going across the internet right now, like 100 men versus a gorilla, and like
I don't understand. What is that about? Because I don't understand.
It's just
that.
everybody being dumb about it. Like some gorilla
But where does
experts,
gorilla come up?
I don't know. It's the thing that everybody's like just doing memes about and spreading around, and like some gorilla experts, like, dude, like 30 dudes could take down a gorilla. Like yeah, a gorilla could probably kill 5 of you easily, but enough people will take down a gorilla. It's yeah, they're super strong, but they have, they get tired too.
I'm gonna imagine that the first thing King Kong does with the ring is just make a girl Kong, right?
Hell yeah, he does.
I'm just thinking, what would I do? My intelligence is kind of on par with a grade schooler, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, look, I'd definitely make an X-wing real quick,
Just take like as a little test flight before I started thinking about how to help the world with my powers.
Yeah, well, I would fly it around while I'm thinking what to do. That would
Gotcha.
clear my
Okay.
mind for the adventure. The thing about Godzilla versus the Avengers or Spider-Man or whatever, we've seen Galactus. We know what they do to a giant thing. It's you just take a Galactus story and have him rage out and smash cities. It's going to be cool.
Sure, but like Superman fights Godzilla level things all the time. I would think
All the time. Sure.
Why is that an interesting book for me to read?
Because it's
I
Godzilla.
think Superman got knocked on his ass first real fast in that fight. And then he was like in some cryostasis getting repaired. So, okay, I get that. I guess that makes sense. You knocking his ass out so that he's okay.
I think atomic breath would probably not feel good to Superman. Like, obviously, like,
no, but
they
he'll be
claim
okay.
that he's in. Yeah. But I mean, have to get in the back to tank, whatever that equivalent is. We've been watching so much Star Wars. The other day for May the 4th, I was like to my daughter Samantha, Sammy, it's Star Wars Day. And I tried to explain the pun of May the 4th. Woo, puns.
Yeah, even Kent wasn't really clear on it. Kent gets the connection, but not the humor.
But she was like, all right, Star Wars Day, I get it. I was like, which Star Wars do you want to watch? 3. We've literally watched Return of the Jedi 3 times in a row. Okay, 2. Now you're talking, kiddo. We watched it again, loved it. She was so excited for his hand to get cut off. She was telling me when they went into the dream cave and Darth Vader got his head, she's like, this is my favorite part of part 2. And I was like, yeah.
Scared of getting my head cut off.
Scared of getting my head cut off. So yeah, we've been watching a lot of Star Wars. I'm tempted to show her the prequels, but I might not do Phantom Menace. I might just start 2 and 3 and just see what happens.
I hope that happens and she doesn't realize until she's like in college that there was an episode 1. And then like one day in the rain, she comes to you and she's like, Father, you lied to me. You didn't tell me the whole truth. And you're like, well, from a certain point of view.
Certain point of view. She has these like cups that we put snacks in, like popcorn or whatever, while we're watching a movie. And she'll be like, Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father. And I go, told me enough. Told me you killed him. No, I didn't kill him. I am actually your father.
What you failed to realize the past movie and a half is that I am your father. That's hysterical.
I saw something amazing on Star Wars Day, and it was a clip of Obi-Wan fighting Darth Vader in New Hope. And it's the moment that Luke comes out and is like, Obi-Wan? Huh? And Leia's with him, and Obi-Wan looks over and he's like, watch this, kid. But the look he gives him, it said, the look he gives is the fact that he sees that the twins are back together, and he knows that it sets in motion what will destroy the Empire.
Oh, cool.
And thinking about him, like, there's no way. Like, if you're telling me that George Lucas thought of that, get fucked. But if you look at it in like a hindsight level thing, the look he gives him is pretty sly, and you're like, that is really cool, because it is that perfect kind of like tee I know more than you do moment, and then he gets like force ghosted, but he sees that Luke and Leia are together, and together they can accomplish anything. And that's a message we don't get enough in Star Wars, because they kind of like bury the lead that they're brother and sister. Because like if you focus on it too much in the first trilogy, they're like, but wait, they like kissed. I mean,
did you watch any of the new stuff? Any Andor yet?
I have not watched season 2. I'm trying to get. I want Kate to watch season 1 again with me to refresh, because it's so fucking good. But I might not wait long enough and just watch season 2, because I cannot wait. It looks so good.
I haven't started it yet, and I don't know anything about it yet. But I did like Andor 1. I did not like the prison stuff. Well, that's not true. The prison stuff was fine, but it wasn't. It didn't have to be Star Wars. It was just space prison escape film.
None of Andor needed to be Star Wars. That's why it's good. That's why it's good. This is why we're stuck in a Star Wars rut for every time they make a movie, is they're too focused on trying to bring it back to Star Wars. It's like, we know Star Wars. It needs to be Star Wars. And Andor is like, no, I just want to tell a rebellion story. I want to tell a Shawshank Redemption story. The fact that it's in a Star Wars wrapper doesn't matter. And I think that is something I would defend to the end.
I wanted to see more of Johnny Andor's stuff. He was in the prison too long, whereas like
it's one episode.
No, it's not. The Mandalorian was like, every episode is a new adventure, right? Every episode is a side quest. Andor was like, here's this thing. Now here's another thing. And he's like, but then he goes to jail for the rest of the season. And you're like, all right, so he's doing cool shit in jail and working on a plan and everything. And then like a rebellion, and that's cool. But like, good. I'll get back to the main story. And they're like, no, this season's over.
The thing that ticks me off so much about Mandalorian is they're like, every episode's a new thing. And you're like, you could carry this on for 6 or 7 seasons. And they're like, I'm already bored with this shit. Let's get a bunch of guest stars in. And you're like,
yeah,
Mandalorian, like, all you had to do was just keep going to a new town and helping people and protecting Grogu. And they're like, nah, let's bring Luke Skywalker into it. And at first I was super like, yeah, Luke Skywalker. And I was like, wait, oh no, they did the thing that I hate. And I fell for it too. When Luke first walked through that door and they were like, oh yeah, Luke Skywalker, aren't you stoked? I was like, yes.
Yes,
and
no, but that was cool as hell.
It was really cool.
That was done well.
Then like 10 minutes later, I was like, oh, you got me. Now it's the exact thing that I told you not. I was hoping you wouldn't do.
Do you want a whole episode about them and have nothing to do with the mainstream? I don't remember if it was Mandalorian or Boba Fett. And you're like, yeah, wait, he got the child back? That doesn't make any sense. Like,
yeah, during Boba Fett, literally, but Boba Fett was so poorly organized and thought out that 3 episodes into Boba Fett, they're like, hey, you guys want some more Mandalorian? And people are like, yes, I would so much rather you just do more Mandalorian episodes. So then they have like 3 Mandalorian episodes and then go back to Boba Fett at the end. And they're like, here you go. And at that point, you're like, all right. I guess if he rides a Rancor, I guess I'll forgive him. God damn,
what a goddamn way. Even that didn't save it for me. That was the Skywalker walking through the door for me, but I saw it. I was like, no. You can't shit all over this season and then have him ride a Rancor and think I'll just go along with it.
Oh, I literally called it. I was like, I'm kind of not digging this, but if he rides a Rancor, it'll make everything up. I guess I'll be okay. Then I had to own up. You know what? And I'm a man of my word. So ride a Rancor you will. Hats off.
And you got back on it?
You got back on it. Yep. Crazy times, man.
I don't know how I brought it up, but I brought up Robot Chicken Star Wars to Kent, and we searched it, and it was you had to pay for it under something. We didn't have whatever it needed. But Kent, when that happens, Kent is not stopped. He'll just hit watch trailer, and the trailer it wasn't a trailer. It was just a 30, 40 seconds of it. It was a skit where Ponda Baba, whatever his name is, gets out of bed the walrus man gets out of bed and he's like, "Roar, roar, 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 roar." It's like, what a great day. And then he goes to the office and he's an artist. And as he's drawing, the boss comes in and is like, "Looks like you're angling for that promotion." And then Dr. Evanson comes in and he goes, "Hey, man, let's knock off early and hit that new cantina." And Ponda Baba's like, "I really should finish." And Evanson goes, "Oh, come on, one drink won't kill you." And then they get up and go. And right when do you remember that skit?
Oh yeah.
Right when they get to the cantina is when the trailer just cut off. So Ken didn't even see the joke of that. He just saw the buildup. He thought it was so funny that Ponda Barber was just, he was walking around the house just doing that all day. So I was like, I have the DVDs outside. We could watch them. He, I would say, gets about 60% of the jokes, but he thinks it is hysterical. We've watched the first there's 3 episodes or chapters or whatever. We've watched the first 2 and he absolutely loves it. That one is still his favorite sketch for sure. He likes, there's one where the walkers are on Hoth and there are 4 of them walking slow and Darth Vader goes, "You may start your attack." And 2 of the AT-AT drivers rev the engine and the AT-ATs rear back like horses and then start galloping. It's really funny.
I'll have to go back around to those because I miss Robot Chicken. That show's really funny. You miss me and dried up douchebag.
Yeah. He goes, "What is that beep?" I said, "In the show or in the kitchen?" And he was like, "I don't know. I heard a beep." And then he was like, there it is again. And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "It's on the show. Listen." And I'm listening and I'm like, "Is it like a sound effect?" It was the curses. Like when they actually let a lot of curses through, but when they say fuck, they beep it. He's like, "Yeah, they just said fuck it." And he's like, I was like, no, don't say that. That means it's the F word. Don't say that one.
we were in a coffee shop and Sammy goes, "Let's pretend we're at the cantina in Star Wars." And I was like, "Okay."
Awesome.
And I sit there and she taps me on the shoulder and she goes, "He doesn't like you." And I was like, "Who?" And she's like, "Pretend, Daddy, pretend. I don't like you either." I'll cut my arm off. She is very taken about the arm cutting off of Ponda Baba and Dr. Evanson.
There's a ton of arms that get cut off.
Oh, Wampa's arms get cut off. It's a theme. It's a real theme in Star Wars. Yeah, what is he a doctor of? Dr. Evanson, what are you a doctor of? I bet you have a malpractice suit following you around. I bet that's why you have all those death sentences.
Yeah, I think that's I think that's like when you get the barber of Fleet Street, like you get like a nickname because of your killings. He must have had some doctor-related killings. I'm actually sure that there is an answer for that if we Google it, but I'm not nerdy enough to know that off the top of my head. Yeah,
Wikipedia will tell me that immediately. I bet somebody that is listening to our show right now is screaming like, "You don't know what Dr. Evanson did," and you're like, "It's okay."
Some of our fans will show up at our front door in the rain, and they'll be like, "You told us you were Star Wars fans. You don't even know why Dr. Evanson is a doctor,
and why he's wanted for death in 17 systems."
Yeah. Ponda Barba in the Robot Chicken, Ponda taps Luke, and he says, "Roar!" He's like, "I love your hair. How do you get it to do that?" And Evanson leans over and goes, "He doesn't like you." And he's like, "That's not what I said. I don't like you either."
Those movies are so good. Whenever I show Sammy a trailer, she's like, "Is this movie too scary for me to watch?" And you're like, "No, we're just watching a little bit." And she's like, "But you only play the trailers when they're scary." And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess, but it's fun though. It's really fun to share Star Wars. It's the best. I'm so stoked on it."
It sounds like she's like super into it too.
Super into it. But I'm realizing something. We were at a good time because the hand-me-down 80s Star Wars toys were easily available. You went to any garage thing or Goodwill, Star Wars toys were available when we were real little. Then when we were teenagers and Star Wars was cool again, Power of the Force drops, more Star Wars toys. Now, Star Wars toys sucks because they don't just keep releasing the characters you want. They're all collector edition, black label, legacy label, $20 figures. I'm like, what happened to just like a $5.99 $6.99, like just a toy, just a
Right,
regular toy
for a 7-year-old to play with. Yeah.
Yeah, not a 35-year-old man like me.
Right.
I'm not even 35. For not a 41-year-old man like me. Oh, is that Boba Fett?
MAFX, Boba Fett, Return of the Jedi, straight
That's
from China.
sick. Yeah. That's a great figure too.
I did a lot of research on it, and it was not. I mean, it wasn't very expensive, but it certainly wasn't $5.99. So,
No.
can't play with this.
Right? Like,
but I got good news for you.
Yeah.
You know those Power of the Force figures that dropped when we were middle schoolers?
Yeah, they're worth $2 on eBay.
You could get them for less than what they were selling for then. Now you have to get them on eBay or a collector's shop, but you could go there, no problem.
Oh, don't worry. My brother has an entire gigantic bin full of them in his basement, and it will let me have them anytime I want. But you gave me some, like, an Ewok 2-pack a few years ago.
Yeah.
For my birthday. Sammy got it. She opened it. Good. She played with it. She's loving it. Yeah. Yum nub.
The one of the robot chickens that we just watched opened with the view from Endor as the second Death Star explodes and all the Ewoks are yub-nubbing around, and Boba Fett flies over and is like, guess who lived? And he starts massacring them. Oh, you didn't know I had a lightsaber. You didn't know I had 2 lightsabers. Then, like, one Ewok is getting away, and he's like, oh, my God, if only I had a ranged missile. I do. And he bends over, and a rocket pack shoots it, and there's, blood and bones. And Kent's like, why is he killing all the Ewoks? I was like, it's funny because in the movie the Ewoks lived and they're cute and you don't think that they. Then he's like, oh, okay, the concept of killing Ewoks is funny, and then he's laughing as little clay blood is exploding out of their ears. And
do you remember, like, peak internet, like when we were in high school and early college, like when internet was like becoming a thing, and it was like,
and most websites had the little under construction sign on the bottom with the spinning traffic signs.
Yeah. But there were, like, funny videos like Charlie the Unicorn, Charlie, or like, oh, my spoon is too big.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
shit
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. G.I. Joe, like, who wants a body massage?
Yeah.
Like, this generation now has no clue. They don't have any of that. Like, what? Like, there's too much. But, like, we all saw that was like water cooler. We all shared that with us, like early, like Teen Girl Squad, like Strong Bad, burninating through the countryside. Like, we all knew what that was, and like that was like funny videos that we shared. But like now it's just there's too much going on. It's oversaturated, and kids don't have access to that kind of funny. They have their own funny things now, but I don't think they're as funny.
No, they're definitely not. Scientifically.
How do you feel about what's happening at the Minecraft movies?
I couldn't even tell you what it is. I know it has to do with a chicken jockey, but I don't know what chicken jockey is. I don't even know if that's related to the movie or the game or something someone randomly did in the theater or both. That's literally all I know, is that there's something related to chicken jockeys that now you're not supposed to do it in the theater, but it's a thing. That's literally all I know. So enrich me here.
I am on the same page with you, but I do know that the second chicken jockey comes on screen and Jack Black says, chicken jockey, everybody goes batshit crazy and trashes absolutely trashes the theater. Trashes it.
But you don't know why or what the significance of chicken jockey is, or
it doesn't need it. It doesn't need anything. Their willingness for destruction.
It's ascended beyond comprehension or meeting.
Bingo. Somebody brought this up though. They go, that movie is that generation's first IP that is theirs.
Well, that's probably, that makes sense.
That has taken that long. Everything else, Star Wars, Marvel, it's our shit, our generation shit, crammed down their throat. This is the first thing that our generation's like, I don't fucking know. Like, okay, fine. All right, Minecraft. That movie's going to flop. Biggest movie ever. Trashing theaters over it. And the fact that we don't understand is exemplified in the chicken jockey moment. But I was really like, holy cow. they really don't have any IP. When we were kids, Ninja Turtles came out, Ghostbusters came out, G.I. Joe, Masters of the Universe, Transformers. Everything that has been a gigantic franchise came out when we were kids. This generation has nothing that isn't jammed down their throats from a past generation. That's wild.
That makes sense, and I can see that, and that's really, I would love. It'd be really. Could you talk to somebody in this, like this generation? And
I don't understand the words that they say.
Yeah, that's
like I would.
They'd be yelling chicken jockey at you. You'd be like, what?
Bussin' for real. Lit, fam. Like
So chicken jockey is a rare occurrence, according to AI, a rare occurrence where a baby zombie or baby zombie villager, but some sort of dead baby, spawns riding on a chicken. It's a naturally occurring feature in the game, although rare, and has become a viral trend due to its appearance in the movie, a Minecraft movie. It's very rare. And the trend in the movie is the chicken jockey moment in the movie where a baby zombie rides a chicken has become a popular trend on social media, with many fans and moviegoers reacting with excitement and enthusiasm, sometimes even causing disruptions in the theater.
That's an understatement. Have you seen the pictures of these movie theaters?
No, I haven't seen anything about it, but...
You haven't seen the videos?
No, I literally, what I told you is literally the only thing that I know. I didn't even know they were ripping up theaters. I just knew that I figured that they were flipping out because they said, I saw
every person in the
said,
theater throws an entire full bucket of popcorn into the air. People throw chickens into the air. People start trashing the seats and spraying odd sticky liquids. Like it is
that is quite
chaos.
a disruption.
It is chaos. And part of me is like, the thing is, I feel bad for the people who have to clean that up because that's a disaster. What a fucking nightmare that is. But at the same time, it's kind of like, I appreciate the enthusiasm, kids.
Yeah, I agree. And I would say,
no, you're going to watch one of these videos and you're going to get like this like teacher moment where you're like, hey, you sit down, stop throwing popcorn. Where'd you get that chicken? Put that chicken back in your pan.
That's my question is, do you have to buy a ticket for a chicken or you just bring it in? Are these live chions or you're bringing in like
chicken.
Raw meat?
I'm sure they brought it in. So don't give them any ideas, man. Raw meat thrown at screen because of...
I was thinking of the alive chicken, like the actual live chicken. You're like, shh, be quiet, chicken. Peacock. Just shh. Not yet, not yet. Hold.
Did they ever check you for snacks? Like when you like smuggled in snack? I never got busted for that.
They never checked me, but if they did, I would like flip out about it. I'd be like, how dare you? I say.
They're like, sir, do you have 9 Mr. Good bars stuffed in your socks? And like, yeah.
There was
tell
a time
them where the Toblerone is.
Me and one friend smuggled in, like, no joke, 12 cheese sandwiches to Six Flags once out here, and we were both RAs, and we had like a barbecue the day before, and that's all that was left. So we got to keep all the extra food. So you're like, let's go to Six Flags and let's smuggle in food. And the guy was like, whoa, there's a lot of sandwiches. He was like, how many are in here? And I was like, 5. Because he just literally opened my bag as filled with cheese sandwiches. How many are in here? I was like, 5. He's like, well, you could keep 2, but give me the other 3. And I was like, okay. So I gave him 3 sandwiches and closed the backpack back up. He threw 3 sandwiches away, and 2 sandwiches away, and we brought in like whatever 10 sandwiches left. Yeah, take that, Six Flags chicken jockey.
I watched a great movie the other day.
Okay, hit me.
So this is called Rafifi. You ever heard of it?
Is it about a shaman?
Rafifi. Oh, that's Rafiki.
Oh, that's what you said. Okay, no.
Rafifi. It is a French film. Rafifi in French is basically like male posturing. Like, yo, what you gonna do, bro? What you gonna do? You wanna fight, bro? You wanna fight? It's that shit. And also, like, if your chick's like, she's like, whatever, and you're like, hey, I'm talking to you.
Nice.
Like, it's being a dick of a dude. Fifi.
Sounds better in French.
Bingo. So it's this dude gets out of prison, and he's like the best heist dude ever. He's a really good thief. And his buddy, who he kind of took the rap for, who's way younger than him, is like, I'm going to hook you up now. You took the rap for me. I'm going to hook you up with a heist. Me and my buddy Mario, who is a stereotype of a Mario. It's a me, Mario. This is French, by the way, but he's still in French doing the Italian thing is super. It's a me, Mario. And he's like, hey, we got this great idea. And he's like, yeah, that's a great idea, except it's terrible. You want to just like smash and grab some jewels? How about we take the whole damn safe? And they're like, no, we're not into that. But then he comes back around. He's like, no, we need to do this. He convinces them, and they go. It turns into this incredible heist movie. And it's like a 17-minute silent heist. Only the sound of them tap, 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 drill, climb down in, steal
What
the
year
jewels.
did you say this was?
1955. And it's so good. But there's a scene where then the bad guys come, and it's who's got the jewels, who's stealing the jewels, who has the money. I stole your child. Give me my kid back. It's so good. And there's this scene where this guy has rescued the child, and he has to get him from the bad guy's hideout to his home, but he's shot in the gut, and the dude's driving and barely staying awake, and the kid's just like, yeah, I'm having a great time. Woo! I love riding convertibles. This is so fun. And he's like dressed like a cowboy, shooting caps into the air, but the dude's like about to bleed out, and it's so tense. And there's literally a moment where the kid puts the plastic gun to his head, and he's like, yeah, drive. And it's just such an arresting visual of him being like, get me home or else. And I was like, it's just a moment. Like, you've had a heist, you've had shootouts, you've had double crosses, but this moment where it's like, if he bleeds out and crashes the car, this kid's going to die. And we've already seen multiple French films where in the last minute, they're like, hey, we did it, guys. Oh, shit. Crash the car. Everybody dies. So the French are not above killing them at the last minute. And you're just like, holy shit, he's got to get home. Even with this idiot kid. And it was great. Rafifi is a masterpiece. Highly recommend it. So good.
I'm looking up the cover to see, because it sounds like it's familiar.
It's just a picture of a guy, a wannabe Humphrey Bogart on a yellow
that's what
cover.
it looks like.
Yep. That's the dude. He's Rafifiing all over the place.
I almost watched Diabolique after our last episode. I don't know what order we'll air them, but last time we recorded, you talked about, was it that was Diabolique, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, I almost did that, but I've only been mentally and emotionally half here. I did start the 2020 CBS version of The Stand, which is actually it's entertaining enough. It's not bad. It's not great.
I love that book, but every iteration of it that's been put on screen, for some reason, somehow makes that book kind of boring. And I was like, is the book boring? No, the book was great.
It's not boring. This one, first of all, this one came out in 2020, and I can only imagine watching it
during the pandemic.
Yeah. So like, that's very interesting to think about. I like it that it's more sophisticated than the 1990s miniseries, although I loved the 90s miniseries. Now, just like I was a kid when that came out, so I wasn't as discerning. I hadn't read the book yet. I read the book later. But it was good, but it was very TV. Watching this do 2020 when it makes me think of how different television is now than it was then, because you have wide shots of New York City all fucked up and everything now. You couldn't do that then. You for a TV show in the 90s, and there's so many things that you can do now that you couldn't do then. It's got a lot of bad words. It's really gory and graphic as far as people getting shot, number one, but also the Captain Trips disease that's killing people. But it's interesting enough. They're changing it enough, and it definitely, like, I didn't know anything going into it, so someone steps out and they're like, "I'm this main character," and you're like, "Oh, cool! You're a guy or you're a girl. I've seen you in things." So it's pretty interesting, and it's okay, but it's going. Did you see it, the new one?
No.
It's the original one, and I believe in the book, it's told in chronological order. They explain Captain Trips. They say that, people are dying from this virus. Some people are immune. They all get this dream. They all start to go out west. They all start to meet each other, whether in the good guy camp or the bad guy camp. This is going back and forth between like now and 5 months ago, or now and 2 months ago. And they announce it sometimes and sometimes don't, which is not necessarily bad or confusing, but it does feel like you change lanes without warning me. And also, like, why I don't necessarily know that adds to the storytelling, as opposed to if you had just told it chronologically. And the times that it's most jarring is when you're introduced to Flag and the concept of Randall Flagg, who is the leader of the evil camp. He's coming to people in their dreams, and he's offering them this little stone that is glowing. And you're like, okay, it's an evil talisman. I get the concept of that. Then later on, you meet a character who you have not met yet at the beginning of episode 2, and she has one. And you're like, oh, so he already gave that to her? Like, I understand what's happening. It's not that I'm confused as to how that happened, but you didn't show it to me, and now you're introducing me to her, and she already has one. It feels like a lot of stuff to just give me at the first bite. But then later, like much later, they like in a different episode, they show a flashback to that girl's childhood, and she gets it. And you're like, well, that was the way that you presented that the first time is confusing, because I just assumed it happened before I met her. I might not be explaining it well, but it's definitely just a weird way to tell the story, I feel like.
It is. It doesn't make sense, which I guess that's kind of the point. Is the trash can man played by Ezra Miller?
Here's the thing. I haven't gotten to him yet, and he was the one thing that I was like, weird, because that's a very important part. Now, so one thing I did do is before I started it, I Googled, does that series end? Because I wanted to know, does the show end, or did they think they were going to get another season? Because I didn't want to walk through a season of that and not have an end. And the thing that it came up said, yes, it does end, although it's different than the original published ending. And then it didn't say the TV show ending. It said the redone ending or the rewritten ending or something. I was like, wait, there was a separate ending? But either way, it's supposed to end. And I'm wondering, I think I'm about halfway. I think there's 9 episodes and I'm 4 in. So plenty of people still to be introduced to. But it's good so far. I like it enough. We haven't really seen Vegas yet, so we haven't really seen the bad guys' camp. They just the good guys just sent the spies on their way. So engaging enough, certainly not award-winning, but also not a waste. I wouldn't say it was bad, but it's funny because every time I think, wow, this is a way more grown-up version, because sometimes I feel like the original had a little too much heavenly shit with Mother Abigail, and then Randall Flagg basically was in a red devil suit with plastic horns and a pitchfork sometimes, and some characters were like, I'm evil, and you're like, relax, you don't need to, like, I don't need to be told that. I would have assumed that based on your actions. This is pretty good and doesn't do that, except when it does. Like the guy who played Harold, who I think was Parker Lewis Can't Lose in the first one, he is school shooter, up and down, crazy, revenge. Like, he decides he wants revenge, and we, the audience, know he wants revenge. But he's trying to be nice to everybody so they don't suspect. But he is so over-the-top, shit-eating, grin, cartoony, fake nice that it's cartoony. It's completely unbelievable, and it doesn't fit in with the rest of the people in any of the scenes, you know?
But I think that's a huge problem with, like, Stephen King across the board is people don't know how to interpret it.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good
and
comment.
So melodrama, like when you watch Stephen King act in his own works, he's super over the top when he's in Creepshow and he's like, oh God,
yeah.
like, and you're like, oh wait, is that how we're supposed to be playing it?
Right.
And it's like,
he told everyone else on Creepshow, turn it on, guys. Keep it up. Keep it up.
it's like,
Where's the
yeah,
energy?
it's horror. It's supposed to be fun, right? Like you're supposed to be having a good time being scared. And you're like, I get that. It's because like, yeah, I can see The Stand as being a tough one. Also massive ensemble, keeping everybody on. And especially when you have like literally all these huge stars, like Crazy Ezra Miller, and in the first one, Gary Sinise. Like, I think it's hard to keep that consistent when you have this massive ensemble, and some of them are like, I want to stand out a little bit.
Yeah. That's probably true. But I like it. I like it so far. I like the tone. I like the visuals. Certainly like worth watching. I was homesick today from school and I just watched like 2 or 3 episodes of it. So like certainly a way to fill the time. Again, at this point, I'm saying it's interesting and intriguing me, but I'm not telling you should or should not watch it yet. I can tell you it's definitely not a waste of your time. But you might watch it and be like, okay, I watched it. That's it.
I think I would rather read the book first.
I mean,
again,
I'm like that with most movies or shows that are books, but for, like you said, specifically Stephen King, you and I both grew up on Stephen King, right? Like I was reading that stuff, no joke, in elementary and middle school.
Yeah.
And once I start watching something, that's the first thing I think is I got to whip this book out and read this again. It's been a while, and his books are,
so good.
Books in general are usually better than the movies just because you get in there more and you get to, build the world a little bit in your own head. But I just I want to watch it.
They move so well. And like even The Stand, where the trash can man is arguably him walking or riding in his motorcycle or like whatever. It is him alone getting closer. It's a doomsday clock analogy type thing.
Sure, yeah.
Right? That's boring to put on screen, but when you read it in the book, you're like, oh no, here he comes. Dun 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 dun. And that's what Stephen King's good at. Keeping things interesting even when it's just somebody walking or riding or being alone. Like he keeps it interesting. I love this stuff.
The thing that I've been thinking of the most
so
while watching this one is, I think as a kid, I was still in New York when that came out. So I think it came out in 91 or 92, but it definitely came out before. Okay. So it came out before I moved to Connecticut. So I was in middle school. And I remember loving it, and I was so into that kind of stuff. But I believe that was the first time I really watched or read an in-depth post-apocalyptic thing. And I remember both in the book and in the movie how they described certain things. Like, how do you get through the Lincoln Tunnel in New York when it is choked with cars filled with dead bodies? The concept of what that must be like. The concept of, okay, you have a town all to yourself, but there's no power. How do you live? What do you have to do to survive? What are your priorities? You meet somebody. How do you tell if they're friend or foe? How do you either get their help or enlist with them or defend yourself? And I remember as a kid thinking of how interesting that was. What a concept of, okay, if I was the only person left in this town, what would I do?
I mean, the early ideas of post-apocalyptic, like to a kid, this was before Walking Dead. This is before. To us, post-apocalyptic is Mad Max. That was like basically the most fleshed out post-apocalyptic media that we had. The future in our media consumption was like Back to the Future. It was futuristic. It was sci-fi.
Sure. Most of it,
I don't think it's until the 90s and 2000s is when post-apocalyptic becomes murder hobos and crazy psycho Negans. This is blowing my mind. Matt Frewer, who plays Trash Can Man in the 1994 Stand miniseries, you know who he played before that?
The dad and the neighbor of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
True, not what I was thinking of. I was thinking of Max Headroom.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. That's blowing my mind. That's crazy.
He's one of those guys that's done way more than you think he has, and you go back and look, and you're like, oh, damn.
Max Headroom was one of those things that was like a weird personality that I was too young for, but knew who he was.
Correct. Same with me. Yep.
Yeah.
Wasn't he Was he Lawnmower Man as well?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good
I want
question.
to say he was in it, but I might not be right. Talk about taking a Stephen King property and changing it a little bit for the screen. Did you ever read the short story Lawnmower Man?
I had to have, because I had the short story book.
I forget. It was either Night Shift or Skeleton Crew. Those are my favorite two short story books of his. It was one of those two. Lawnmower Man is this guy comes to mow someone's lawn, and he's not the normal guy. I think they say he looks slightly special. He's a big guy with long, crazy blonde hair, and he's got a push mower. Yeah. And they're like, okay, you could do it. And I think it was like someone inherited a house or something like that. The guy took off all of his clothes. He was naked, had green pubic hair, and started to crawl on the ground on all fours and chomp the grass with his teeth. And while he did that, the push mower he had starts up all by itself and starts doing concentric squares around the yard all by itself. And the guy's watching that. And while he's watching that, he says a gopher sees what's happening and bolts. And the lawnmower goes after it, mows it down, destroys it, and then gets right back into doing concentric squares around. I forget how it ends. It might just end like that. But
I mean, Stephen King, there's no ending.
That's what it was, and that's. I mean, even if it ended,
of described pubic areas in Stephen King novels.
You remember that shit when you read it in middle school, you know? That strikes a certain chord.
Oh my God, yeah. Just holy cow.
But that turned into some sort of virtual reality weird science movie, right? That had nothing to do with what the movie was about. The movie, I believe, did have a special needs kind of lawn mowing character, and then he was unwittingly put into an experiment where he becomes the internet or something.
That's perfect. I don't see him in Lawnmower Man. It's a perfect example of exactly what that. It's really weird. It's kind of like Flowers for Algernon or Mice and Men, but with VR.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was mind blowing VR. Like the CGI in it was like, oh, I've never seen anything like it. When it was shown to me, when did Lawnmower Man come out? When they showed me that movie, me like, these graphics are phenomenal. I was already like, nah. They came out and then were immediately bested very shortly after.
All graphics except for the original Jurassic Park are, right?
1992.
Pretty much everything looks, yeah.
Yeah, 1992. And then immediately it was, but like this movie had a cult following. Like it also was like everybody had it there. Everybody's dad had it on VHS.
Lawnmower Man?
Yeah. Didn't yours?
Nope.
Oh my God, these graphics.
That was one that I was very aware of. Maybe we rented it once, but it certainly wasn't multiple times, even though me and my dad were both big Stephen King fans. But I don't think I actually sat down and watched it until like this house. So like within the last couple years. Oh,
Pierce Brosnan's the one who's the Lawnmower Man.
In the first one?
Did you know that? Yeah.
I don't remember that at all. I was either sleeping or disinterested by that point.
Or maybe I'm wrong. Who is it? Jeffrey Fay, maybe? I don't know. Pierce Brosnan's in that movie. I like Pierce Brosnan. He's good Bond.
Pierce Brosnan is good. He's in a new show where he's like a mobster and he's with Venom. And I've been thinking about because that is playing on Paramount, which is what I'm watching The Stand on. So every commercial is plugging this mob story, and I'm like, should I watch it? And it's like Pierce Brosnan doing an Irish mobster, and I was like, that sounds so and Helen Mirren is in it, and Tom Hardy's in it, and I was like, I don't like the way Tom Hardy talks lately, and I don't like how Pierce Brosnan sounds in this trailer. I was like, do I really want to try this? I might.
You know the thing about Tom Hardy that I have a vibe for, and let me know if you disagree, but you probably will agree. Okay. Tom Hardy's one of those guys who you don't really want to give. If you're a director, you don't really want to give him direction, and you're just hoping that the character he's going to come up with is in line with you because he's just going to do it. And if you're like, that wasn't really what I was seeing for this, and he's like, what are you going to do about it? You're like, all right, fine, you do.
It's like that's why I don't get commissions. That's why I don't get art commissions at Comic-Con, because like
Right?
you want to be like, can you make sure it's in his right hand and keep it above his head, but not like level with his head? I mean, like you can't really do that. You don't really want to do that. You're an artist and you know more than me. And then you get it and you're like, it's good, but this is not what was in my head at all. Like, even if you didn't have a specific, you're like, I had a range in my head and you're over here.
Like, I think Tom Hardy is a good actor, but he doesn't strike me as the most collaborative, because he makes very interesting choices. And it's like, why would you let him do that? And then I'm thinking, like, are you going to tell Tom Hardy not to, like, pretend like he has tobacco all stuffed in his jaws and talk with a 1920s New York Jewish accent? And you're like, I guess not. I guess I'm not going to try and fight him out of that one.
Venom, he sounds like he's like a little like a giant baby guy. He's like a little upset about everything. And I'm like, what are you, what? Oh, I don't want to be eating people. You're weak. Don't yell at me, symbiote. I don't want to be in a brawl. Let's burp and things. It'll be funny.
Have you seen the whole trilogy?
No, I still have to watch the third one. I heard it's maybe the best one. Was it you who was saying it? Because I want to watch it.
My brother,
for a shitty movie.
My brother says, he's like, it's the best, like, buddy cop gay love story you've ever seen in your life. He's like, it really is not what you expect, but also hysterically perfect for what it became. And I was like, okay. He's like, yeah, it defies expectation. You need to just watch it. And I was like, in a good way. He's like, oh, no, not at all. And I'm like, okay, I'm intrigued. Okay.
Well, that's the thing, is that even if it's a shit show and it's enjoyable for that reason, even if I buy it because it's funny and stupid, it's still heartbreaking in a way, because it should be Venom. Like, there's no reason, absolutely no reason why we can't get a halfway decent Venom movie. Same thing for Ghost Rider, same thing for Hulk. You know, it's like, it's not necessarily rocket science. And if you make a shit fucked up thing that's hysterical, great. Even if you get my $20 on Blu-ray, but you messed up 30 opportunities now to make a halfway decent Venom movie.
You want to talk about things that should be easy and should be hard to fuck up? Let's talk about Predator Badlands trailer.
Okay.
What the fuck is going on with his face? It's just a guy. He's just now a human. He's and like, if the movie's like, oh, this predator was like spliced with a human and now he's dumped on this place to die, I'd be like, okay, I was wrong on that. Like, sure, I buy that. But that's not what it's going to be. It's going to be like, stop fucking with his head. I put this out on the internet and people are like, well, humans are different races. Why can't they be different races? And it's like, if we were changing things that we consider racial traits, like he has different mottled colored skin, his eyes are different shapes, his tendrils are different shapes, his skeletal structure should still be the fucking same movie to movie. Why do you guys keep fucking this up so hard? It's a predator. It was perfected in its design in the 80s in its first two films. And then from then on out, Alec Gillis, is that his name from ADI?
Yeah, in ADI.
Can't stop rejiggering the skeletal structure. And I can't tell if it's because he can't fit his robotics in there, so he just makes them look weird. I don't know what the deal is.
This one looks smaller, though. Like the skull. I didn't have a problem until someone on the internet had a picture of what a predator skull looks like. And what the skull of that guy must look like comparison. And it is the what you said about different color model skin and stuff. If you look at the face and the head of Predator 1 versus Predator 2, they're very different. Just like you and I have different heads, but they're the same basic principle, the same species.
Skeletal structure is the same.
Correct. And if you think about it, you could very easily, with size and subtle differences in the face and coloring, and then on top of that, you have the fact that all of these guys are warriors, right? They're soldiers, they're fighters. You can change everything that adorns them. You can change, for the longest time in comics, I hated when the gun or the wrist knives were on the wrong side. But then I realized as an adult, like, well, what if some of them were lefty? Or what if some of them were better at fighting this way than that way? Okay, that should be that way. What if some of them don't have this weapon but have this weapon? They all should have some sort of helmet. They all have body netting. They all have either armor or don't. They all have heavy or light weaponry. Let's keep going with that. Why do you need to change the creature? I hate it in Predators. I hate it in The Predator. I hate it now if that's what this... I mean, maybe it's...
Prey, it's my only knock to that movie. That movie is perfection. That Predator is wonky looking. And every time he
You're
takes
right. If that was a regular looking Predator, I would bump it up like almost an entire letter grade. And it did well for me anyway. You know, it was an A. I would give it an A- maybe.
It
would
to
have been
me,
flawless.
it's the second best Predator movie. Next to the first.
But yeah.
What's the second one? Predator 2?
Predator 2.
Yeah. Predator 2 has some slow spots, whereas I felt Prey was clipping along the whole time. That's my assessment.
I'd have to rewatch 2 and see if I can find the spots that you're saying. I don't have.
There's moments of 2 where I'm like, wait, am I watching Lethal Weapon or am I watching Predator 2? Both of them have Gary Busey being weird as shit, and you're like, I have forgotten what movie I'm watching.
Both of them have Danny Glover.
Yeah, because the Predator has not been in this long enough. There's like
he was there. He was just cloaked. You didn't see him.
Perfect. The first like hour of Predator, or maybe even 30, 45 minutes, like when they fight the gang members, King Willie, like I love it. The subway scene, awesome. When Gary Busey starts putting on freeze suits and trying to capture him, that's where it slows down to kind of a bummer of a pace, but not terrible. It's still great. I mean, and Gary Busey's great. I love him being wacky and weird in that movie. It's so good.
That was like the beginning of Gary Busey starting to be like that's when he almost took his final form. You know, he was almost there.
Yeah, he's coked out shit in that movie. That was one of those movies that I saw way too young. It was too violent for me as a kid, and like watching it, I was like, "Oh cow!"
Like it fucked you up, or your parents said it was too violent.
It was one of those rated R movies that my parents were like, your friend watched it, so it must be fine. And then like I watched it and was like, whoa.
You called your mom pussy face and she was like, nope.
yeah. Well, because it comes out strong R real quick. You know, it drops like, watch it again. There's like, they say they drop fuck 100 times in the first 10 minutes of that movie.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Like a dude gets hung naked upside down.
Yeah, I was going to say it starts with a coke bust that goes wrong, ends with a guy falling to his death, and then there's people, skinned people hung naked upside down in the first sequence. Yeah. So you're like, yeah.
Yeah, so it was like, it starts out hard R, and then you get to King Willie, and you're like, fucking cool. My first Xbox handle for years was King Willie because of that.
And everybody thought it meant something different, and you'd always have guys hitting you up.
Hey, man, you want to have a LAN party? Yeah.
Fucking voodoo magic, man.
That scene is so great, too, because, like, the water's, like, the footsteps in the water all by themselves. Like, whoa. But it's also, like, such a great example of what would be pure CG now, and completely fine to be CG now, because the amount of work to make the footsteps in the water practical, invisible is like,
but looks fucking awesome.
So cool.
Go back to Badlands for a second. So I haven't seen the full trailer. I've only seen stills. What is something, either an image or a concept from that trailer that excites you?
Nothing. It didn't jazz me up. I'm going to be honest.
Ooh.
I like the idea that the planet is just as hospitable as any of the creatures on it. Like there's a lot of flora and fauna and animals that look super dangerous. And I'm like, that's exciting. Did you watch Scavenger Rain?
No, I don't even think I know what that is.
Freeze this podcast right now. Go watch Scavenger Rain. It is one of the greatest pieces of animation to ever exist on this planet.
Is it on Netflix?
It's either on Netflix or Max. It aired on one of them and then moved to the other one. It didn't get renewed for a second season, which is like a crime against humanity. It is one of the best sci-fi shows, best animations ever created. It's the scavenger rain, a spaceship, breaks up, shoots out all its pods with people inside of it, and they crash on this planet. And they wake up. A lot of them are dead.
Oh, I know what I know what you're talking. I didn't see it, but I know the one you're talking about. At least.
Holy shit! Then the spaceship sets off a beacon. And everyone all over this planet who's still alive sees the beacon. So now they have to traverse this inhospitable place to get to the crashed shell of the spaceship. And some of them have nothing. Some of them have like a robot companion. Some of them have weapons. And it is so amazing because every episode has something that just blows your mind. Like they're crawling through these briars and it pricks one of them. And then he's like, ow, I got hurt. Okay, keeps going. The blood travels through the vines to this pod, and it grows a clone of him who then stalks him for days, coming to kill him. Like, every episode has something that just blows your mind in this, like, world of just, and never explains it. It's just so good. It's the best sci-fi out there. I think it's incredible.
Much like I was saying when I was a kid and I watched the first TV series of The Stand, and I kind of put myself in that position to see what it would be like. Hearing you say, okay, some of them had weapons, some of them had robot companions. I'm imagining being on a spaceship that's in distress and knowing I have to get to the escape pod. And what do I grab? And do I grab a weapon knowing that I might end up on a planet and need it? But then you're talking about this plant that pricks a guy and his clone comes to kill him. I'm thinking that if my clone met me, we'd be best friends. Even if he was pre-programmed to kill me and he really wanted to, and that was what he was supposed to do. I think if a Matt Corrigan met another Matt Corrigan, they would find each other hysterical.
I can just see this meet cute. You're like, whoa, bro, are you a plant clone coming to kill him? And he's like, yeah. And you're like, what? I mean, look, I don't want to die, but it's pretty cool. And he's like, yeah, it is pretty cool. You kind of get a high five. Whoa. Like,
the first thing I would do is be like, quick, take your shirt off. Now switch around really fast so Rumi doesn't know which one of us is me and which one of us is you.
You totally would do that. And then the plant thing would kill me instead. It'd be so what a good game.
No, you'd be on my cool list. I'd be like, nope, you don't touch Rumi. Rumi's our friend. And he's like, I'd be like, you know what we need? We need a Rumi clone. Let's go prick Rumi. Let's go prick Rumi. We need to make this a gang of 4.
Dude, the next time you have a sick day, you have to watch Scavenger Rain. I implore you. It's so good.
Okay.
Blew my mind. Did you see that the Cowboy Bebop creators have a new cartoon out called Lazarus on Max?
No, but I'd check that out.
Yeah, I hear good things. You know how like a big part of Cowboy Bebop was like their 6th soundtrack?
Yeah.
This one has like 3 complete albums that go with it. And I was like, whoa.
And it's a new show? It's not just something that's being released here now?
What's the difference? I think it's oh, we're all gonna die. It's so funny. Yeah, dude. I think it's a new show called Lazarus, and it's on HBO Max. And at first, I was like, "What's this Cowboy Bebop wannabe knockoff?" And my brother was like, "Oh no, it's by the same company." I'm like, "Well, then you're allowed to knock off whatever you want. Let's go." Haven't watched it yet, but I've been listening to the music, and I'm excited.
I'll check it out. We lost Max recently, and I didn't get to. You know what? I was on Max too, and keeping with the animated theme, they released. I think I'm a little late to the party now, but they released 2 chapters of Watchmen, which is in essence the whole book, and it's 4K computer animated stuff, which I think is fantastic.
Comic book accurate?
Yeah, very. I mean, again, I'd have to read the comic to see what they didn't put. They definitely didn't change anything big. Like, we definitely got Squid Monster in there. They definitely did not change anything giant. The Black Freighter is in there, but not giant. So I wouldn't be surprised if they had trimmed some of that out. Anything else that they trimmed, I didn't miss. So I'd have to see what was there, what was not. But really good. I'm a Watchmen fan, and I'll eat it up. If you fucking show me puppies dressed up like Watchmen characters during the Super Bowl,
Watchmen DC Universe crossover fan though? Like when they tried to expand it into sequels and bullshit?
Do it. I'm going to read it. I'm going to say it was so-so and not ever think about it again.
Yeah.
But I mean, like the actual Watchmen story, I think it's every bit as genius as everybody ever says it is. I think every deconstruction of it is amazing. And I'll watch. Make another TV series, make another movie, make another cartoon. I will watch every single one,
The TV
even
series
if it's terrible.
was phenomenal. Like
the TV series was fantastic.
I couldn't believe how good it was. Like I could not believe that you could take Watchmen anywhere more. I think it is on par with what the comic book did in a time when everything had been done. It did multiple episodes that had me just going, that is like when it showed how Dr. Manhattan lives in multiple time periods at once. I thought that was one of the most impressive examples of that concept ever put to screen. That's a really hard concept to do. Also, when she takes the remember pills all at once, like just ODs on them and is like getting ripped through all these memories, I thought that was brilliant. There were multiple times where I was just like, wow, you're tackling things that us as a society have concepts of, but it's really hard to take that out of a book or out of sci-fi and put it on into a real thing. And I just was blown away.
Especially something that's so groundbreaking. Like I went into that show with no expectations, but had I had any, they would have been low because I would have been like, that is arguably, or maybe even inarguably, the best comic ever made for so many reasons. Whether you're doing a sequel, an update, a reboot, a retelling, or whatever, how are you going to make it live up to that? And I like that this was like, we're not necessarily trying to do that. This is the next stage. And it did it, I don't say as geniusly, but really amazing. And certainly didn't hurt the story,
No, and that's the thing. It really did just continue the story. The fact that Voight is still just dumping squids every now and then, I found that brilliant. And
it was like this new animated one. I think it came out in the fall and then in December, I think, something like that. It's not adding anything new per se. Like I said, there might have been a couple subtle changes, but for the most part, it's pretty much from the comic. But that comic to me is so monumental. It's so enjoyable. I love it so much, and it resonates so hard with me on so many levels, really so many layers. Like, it's like Jaws. I love Jaws so much, and I think you cannot argue that Jaws is well made in many ways for many reasons. Is it perfect? No, I think Watchmen's probably more perfect, but I could probably watch Jaws once or twice a month and not get tired of it because it's so big to me. It also has a very sentimental place in my heart, as does Watchmen. So when you give me new Watchmen content, I'm at least going to be excited for that. And this was very true to the original, which I very much enjoyed. And
is this the definitive motion version of it to you?
Yeah, I think it probably is. I'd have to rewatch it to think, but there was a motion comic that was great, but it's a male reading all of the parts. So when he's doing Laurie Kaspazak, he's doing like a soprano-esque girl voice, and it's like it's kind of weird and jarring. Yeah, and it's not, it's like a motion comic, so if you've seen those, it's not really fluid motion and it's limited and stuff. But it was stylistic and interesting, but I don't think it necessarily lent itself to Watchmen specifically. The Zack Snyder movie was really, I still think that's really good for what it was. Could you make a better live action? Possibly, but that hasn't been done yet. So I'm not going to criticize that movie for what it is not. It's pretty good.
Until I saw the Watchmen TV show, I liked the ending of the Zack Snyder movie almost better than the comic
Agreed.
book. Because I was like, yeah, how do you pull off that squid thing? How do you show that? That is, I really did see that. To see the TV show tackle the squid with just deftly, they just nailed it. They did such a good job pulling that off and making it feel real. I was like, well, shit. Seeing that tells me that you could have done it. You could have done it. But I understand why. And I understand for people who are not prepared for a giant squid plot line, the Dr. Manhattan thing serves the same purpose.
Well, I think the squid to me in the comic, in the original story, is tying that story that much more to comic book lore and comic book ideas. Like,
they do
of
weird shit
course
like that
there'd
all
be
the
a
time.
giant, right? And the idea in the comic makes sense to me because the comic itself is a deconstruction and a satire and a reinvestigation of superheroes and comic book. And the whole thing is the whole thing about Watchmen, at least in my interpretation, is what if this was real? What if superheroes were real? How would that change Vietnam? How would that change the economy of America, et cetera, et cetera? That to have a threat that is a fabricated threat made for world peace to happen, blah blah blah. Okay, giant space alien makes sense because you're a comic book filled with superheroes. I think that that's a little bit too much of a stretch for the film, but also the Dr. Manhattan angle actually makes more realistic sense. It's not actually a stretch, and I think in that movie it ties it really well as to why John now has to leave Earth. He has to get away from here because he is the thing that could come back at any moment. So like it was like a seamless substitution, and I think it was probably way more palatable for the average movie-going audience, you know? But the squid, as crazy as it is, the craziness is supposed to be there. It's satirical in nature to me.
Yeah.
I think it's important to have that in there. So I'm glad that like most versions leave that in.
When I read The Boys the first time, I thought thematically that was a great sort of update to like what would Watchmen be about now? What would the commentary be about now? It's like the oversaturation, the overindulgence, the just the absolute driving it into the ground and overextending storylines. I think they get derailed by their own vulgarity.
Agreed.
A lot of times, like, I mean, that's just kind of what Ennis does.
Yeah.
I loved The Boys. I really did like the comic book, but it was like, oh, I can be gross and shocking, or I can lean into something that's pretty profound.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm going to touch it, and then I'm going to blow somebody's head off, and then show a dick. I mean, that was just like, I mean, that's kind of was the MO of those books, was like, let's go discuss the disgusting route when I'm so close to something that's truly profound. And I think Watchmen treaded that line really well of being shocking, interesting, and just so introspective to what comic books and superheroes are. And I think The Boys continued that tradition, but then literally spunked all over it.
True, but just like Preacher, and as monumental as Preacher was, written by Ennis as well, same thing. Whereas like this is almost amazing to me, but because you're doing spunked all over it is actually a really good analogy with the stuff about Ennis's writing that I don't like. But that's how I do feel about that. Same thing. But for this animated show, man, I mean, I would definitely say if you like Watchmen at all, it's worth the watch. It doesn't add, it's worth the watch, man. It doesn't add anything. So if you've already seen Watchmen and you don't need to see it more, but if you're like me and you're like, I just love Watchmen and I'll eat Watchmen content, this is really, really good. And if they remade it again with different, the voice acting is actually really good too. I should say that. I feel like they cast a lot of really good characters in it because at this point, everybody in pop culture knows these characters and knows what they think they sound like. This doesn't necessarily try to do anything new, but the voices they have for each character are really, really good. And I think I don't usually
even
really
Rorschach
think about. Yeah, Rorschach is good too. Yeah, he's nothing new, but still good.
He got picked on when it first came out. People were like, "Whoa, is that Rorschach's voice?" Ugh. And I was
fine with it.
Yeah,
fine with it. I really like John. I really like Night Owl.
Yeah. It didn't bother.
It's worth the watch. I would say, like, I'm not saying you have to watch it, but if you like Watchmen, it's definitely worth it.
I do like Watchmen. Really like Watchmen. Well, hey, man, you guys should tell us
pretty good content for an episode that we didn't know what we were going to talk about.
Hell yeah! I mean, that's how we roll, man. That's why we're roomies. We could just 2 hours of talking, no problem.
Yeah, that's true. Everyone else is like, I wish you had less things to not talk about.
I know, right? God. Guys, what do you think about Watchmen? You seen the new one? What did you think about Scavenger Rain? I know Matt's late to the party on that one. You guys got to school him. Tell him what's up. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, X, and all the things at Launchpad Pod, and our website, launchpadpod.com, and on YouTube, where hopefully you saw our handsome faces. Walking Dead's back, babies. Dead City
I know a guy that
premiered-
works on that.
Yeah, Dead City premiered last Sunday. This comes out. This is being recorded on the 5th. On the 4th, May the 4th, we aired the first episode of Dead City Season 2. I put blood, sweat, and tears into that thing, and it is phenomenal. And the VFX are top-notch. So big shout-out to all the amazing teams who helped make that happen. Shout-out to my personal team, Tommy Harris. Big shout-out to my guy, my partner in crime on set, Jamie Orsini, who was my producer on that. Megan Hart, our coordinator. Joseph Schnault, who was our VFX editor. Big shout outs to all the teams. And keep keeping an eye out for more Walking Dead awesomeness. Episode 2 has a crazy boat attack, and you might see a crazy bear attack later in the season. So please watch Dead City so I still have a job. Huh. Ruby, there's one thing left we got to do. It's blast this thing off. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready. Are you ready?
Yeah. We're the Rocketeers, and we are out.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.